What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very, very well. I want to talk about Windwalker Monk heading into Season 3 and hopefully help some of you guys who might be freaking out about the state of Windwalker Monk, excuse me, and whether or not, if you're like a Windwalker main, if you should be thinking about playing it in Season 3, because I know some people have not been treating it very well in the tier lists and all that stuff. So what I want to talk about today is some of the tuning that has come down in the patch notes. There's been a couple of different buffs that have come down. I'm going to show you where I kind of rank Windwalker Monk, and then I'm going to show you what I think is the most fun build that you can probably run in Season 3 when it comes to just any DPS. This thing is so much fun, and it makes Windwalker Monk, in my opinion, so interesting and so cool. And I want to make sure I show you guys that. So first and foremost, there are the patch notes. Let's just dive into that really quickly. There's only two sets of patch notes that I have here, and it's going to be really fast. Number one is this one here. So Windwalker, all damage increased by 5%, and then their Flurry Strike one actually got buffed, which is pretty cool. I'm not playing Shadowpan. Shadowpan is kind of more of the traditional monk style. The build I'm going to show you today is the Conduit build, which is really, really cool. This is good, though, and I think it makes Shadowpan pretty good. I don't think it's as competitive as the Conduit build still, but it's nice. All damage by 5%, which is good, and then all damage up by 8%, which is very, very good. So all in all, we've got a 13% damage buff from the PTR patch. There's been some other little changes here and there, too. Our Heart of the Jade Serpent tier set bonus did get nerfed. The duration got cut in half, but I promise you this does not matter at all. The amount of cooldown reduction that this was giving you was completely like broken and insane, and now it's going to be giving you like an appropriate amount of cooldown reduction. And again, I'll explain that in a second. In terms of my melee DPS ranking, I had Windwalker Monk in sort of the A category. I think it is going to be sort of a middle of the pack DPS or up to like an A+ kind of category. It's definitely not going to be S. But you could, in the hands of a really good player, I think you could take it from an A to an A+ easily. And if we're talking about like the context of the physical damage compositions that have been brewing on the Discords and on the internet, then I think Windwalker could be in a really good spot there. Most of the time, you're going to see people filling in that spot with a Brewmaster or a Mistweaver. But again, I want to show you this Windwalker build and show you kind of what's been going on. So what am I talking about? Well, the Conduit of the Celestials tier set bonus. If you don't know what's going on in Season 3, the tier set bonuses are tied to the hero trees. So if I swap hero trees, my tier set bonus swaps as well. For Conduit of the Celestials, you get the Heart of the Jade Serpent buff, okay? All this really means is you get cooldown reduction on Strike of the Windlord, Fist of Fury, Rising Sun Kick, and your, not Flying Serpent Kick, but Slicing Winds, which is really cool. So the way you get cooldown reduction from this ability is by pressing Strike of the Windlord right here, okay? That's how you get it. You press Strike of the Windlord, all your abilities go wow, like pretty quickly, which is cool. Now, the tier set bonus adds Slicing Winds to that. So now you have two abilities that are giving you cooldown reduction, and they can, in fact, stack together, and they can go really quickly. And you'll see abilities like Rising Sun Kick and Fist of Fury, they'll just go wow. They have like a 9-second cooldown. It'll be done in 2 seconds, okay? On top of that, you have Conduit of the Celestials. You have Celestial Conduit, which is going to summon Yu'lon, which is a third activation of Yu'lon, which makes your cooldowns go round. Okay, you can stack them all together. I would highly recommend that you don't do that because you actually can't press the buttons quick enough. Okay, and I'm going to show you in the dummies, but in reality, I think you want to space them out a little bit. On pull, you're going to be doing something like Slicing Winds and Strike of the Windlord together. But when it comes to Celestial Conduit, you're going to want to, I think, hold on to that just for a second, so that you don't have all three of them overlapping at the same time, because it gets pretty degenerate, okay? That's essentially what you're getting from the tier set bonus is massive cooldown reduction and then a little bit of haste. So it doesn't look amazing on the surface, but let me tell you, gameplay-wise, it is incredibly fun to have your most important buttons all cooling each other down and coming back really quickly, and then just being able to go into them and spam them, okay? This is the build that I've been rocking. I think it works very, very well, and I will link it down below for Season 3. The most important talent in here, by far, is Revolving Whirl, coupled with sequence strikes. What does this mean? It means when you press Whirling Dragon Punch, you're going to get a Dance of Chi-Ji proc on your Spinning Crane Kick. You go Whirling Dragon Punch into Spinning Crane Kick, and that Spinning Crane Kick is going to proc your Blackout Kick to give you 1 Chi back, which is... It sounds really simple, but it is essential to keeping your build nice and smooth in terms of the resource generation. because the only resource generation you have is from Tiger Palm, and eventually you're going to run out of energy. And so getting this combo of Whirling Dragon Punch into Spinning Crane Kick into Blackout Kick to give you a chi back really keeps the build flowing. And it means you need to be very mindful of pressing Rising Sun Kick and Fist of Fury to get them both on cooldown so you can press Whirling Dragon Punch. You really need to press this button as much as possible so you can get the whole trigger going, okay? I'm going to show you how this works. So I have an ability tracker, and you can see it's going to show you the abilities that I'm pressing here, okay? You can see there's the Spinning Crane Kick, and you're going to see more of those. We'll do this here. You can see all the different abilities I'm pressing, okay? So when I'm fighting, you can slow the video down or pause it, and you can see exactly what I'm pressing, and then that should be more helpful for you, okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get our clones out, and then we're going to make sure that the top two buttons we have to press are Strike of the Windlord and Slicing Winds. Those are going to activate 2 instances of cooldown reduction, okay? Which is going to be really crazy. And everything's going to start going really fast, and I want you to just watch my bars for how quickly I'm pressing these buttons and how quickly this ends up going, and then, you know, you can see how much damage we do. And it's going to be really good, okay? So here we go. We're going to summon Zuen, then clones, and then we're going to go into our abilities. Zuen, clones, there we go. Slicing Winds, I forgot to do it already. Whirling Dragon Punch, Spinning Crane Kick, Blackout Kick. Do Fist of Fury again, it's already back. We're going to do another Spinning Crane Kick, into a Blackout Kick, into a Rising Sun Kick. Tiger Palm, Rising Sun Kick, then we'll go Whirling, and then we're going to go into our Celestial Conduit. Get our clones out again. Back into it again. We've got our Thunder, this back, Slicing Winds is back. See how quickly that stuff comes back? Our Rising Sun Kick is back, and our Fist of Fury is back. Then we're going to do Whirling Dragon Punch in a second. We can't because our Rising Sun Kick went off cooldown so quickly. There we go. Blackout Kick, Spinning Crane Kick, Blackout Kick again. We got some chi back. We're rocking and rolling. Look, Thunder Fist is back. We're going to press it again. Now we're in a bit of a drought right now. But guess what? We're going really quick again because we pressed our 2 buttons. Now the cooldown reduction is insane. Also, our Fist of Fury channels like super lightning quick. It's really insane. Rising Sun Kick, Fist of Fury. That's a slow Fist of Fury. Okay, we'll get the fast one back in a second. Okay, Rising. Spinning Crane Kick, Rising. Blackout Kick, sorry. Back into again. Thunder Fist. Boom. It's cooling down our Slicing Winds. Go into this. Back into a Fist of Fury in a second here. We don't have enough chi. This is a real problem. This is why you need the extra chi generation from that Blackout Kick. Okay, we're going to go here. Get the boys out. Get the boys over here. And then we do our kick into our spin, into our Blackout Kick. And then we've got Thunder back. We're going to go Strike of the Windlord into our Slicing Winds. Rising, or Fist of Fury. See how fast that channeled? It was just like literally instant. And then we do our kick into a spin, into a kick, Rising Sun Kick, Fist of Fury. And you can kind of see how the build works. Everything is very fast. Our Conduit is coming back, round 2. We're going to go our spin here into some chi. Strike of the Windlord. Slicing Winds. After we do our Whirling. Slicing Winds. Spin. Blackout Kick. Let's try to get a... There we go. Fist of Fury in there. And then we'll go Conduit. That's a long Fist of Fury. You don't really want to do a long Fist of Fury. Let me just say that. That's the, you know, worst case scenario. Because a long Fist... You can do a short Fist of Fury if you just use your other abilities. Like this one right here. Watch this. Spin. Watch how fast my Fist of Fury goes here. You see that? That's what I'm talking about. So it's very, very fast, but it's very fun, in my opinion. And I think it actually does a really good amount of damage. And hopefully, as you've seen in some of the footage, and I can show you right now, that it actually can really pump damage on an AoE pack. I think the big struggle, in my opinion, for Windwalker Monk is going to be your single target damage. I think your AoE damage is exceptional, and potentially you could modify my build a little bit to help include more single target damage, but I think this is a pretty rock solid build right here. I don't think there's really much you would want to change. The only thing you could change potentially is like Dwen's Blood, but I don't think you'd want to. So I like the way that this build works right now, but it does, I think, struggle a little bit on single target. But just in general, it is very fast paced, very fun to play, and it looks and feels amazing when you're doing it. Like the animations, you know, you're dashing with Slicing Winds, you're jumping up with Whirling Dragon Punch, you're summoning a Rushing Jade Wind, you got your Tiger out there, you're doing these extra slashes with you know, and then your Fist of Fury channels in like 0.5 seconds, just like and it just does incredible amounts of damage. And I just really enjoy the way that it looks, the way it feels, and it does a lot of damage. It's not an S tier by any means. They probably could still use more buffs from Blizzard, and maybe they will. Hopefully, we'll have to see. Fingers crossed. but the core gameplay of what you're doing here is very fun, and you could do easily up to plus 12 keys with this thing. I think I probably ranked it too lowly on my things, but if you're looking to just have a really fun DPS this season that can do 10, 12, plus 13s, plus 14s maybe, and you just want to have a lot of fun, I think this could be a really good choice for you. So unfortunately, I don't think the Flurry Strikes build is anywhere near as fun as this one is. It's very boring, very traditional, let's say. It's not necessarily, doesn't mean that it's bad, but I don't think it's as good as this Conduit build, and it's certainly nowhere near as fun. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I will link my build down below for you. And ask me any questions you want about Windwalker Monk heading into Season 3. I think it's in a pretty good spot. It could still use a few more buffs from Blizzard, but all in all, it's super fun, and it does a good amount of damage. And who knows, maybe with the physical damage comp stuff that's coming up right now, maybe you'll get into a key. Have to keep our fingers crossed on that. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you so much again for watching. I love you guys. See you in the next one.